Hi guys, welcome back to Waxing On Friday, and today we're going to look at a couple of soundtrack albums, although they're both from basically the same movie. The movie, A Star is Born. There's been 3 versions already. The most recent one that many of you might be familiar with, one starring Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, and before that we're going to look at one that was probably from the 1970s. We'll get to that one in just a second. Just want to mention the Cooper Gaga album. I've listened to it. I've streamed some of it. It is just an excellent album. I mean, they do such a great job. Bradley Cooper does a great job singing. I thought Lady Gaga, getting away from her Lady Gaga personality and just coming out singing songs was some of the best work I've heard. It's an excellent album. Soundtrack was great in the movie. The movie was one of our favorites as well. So certainly worth checking out if you get a chance. The more recent version, yeah, the music's different. It's a whole different style. What Cooper's doing is different than what they were doing for the male lead in the 1970s version. But they've changed it. They've, I think, improved some of the things. And certainly the music more suits the times. And just a great one to check out if you get the chance. Now, the album I'm going to mention to you today that I have in my collection is from the 1970s version of A Star is Born, featuring Kris Kristofferson and Barbra Streisand. Music director, Paul Williams. Now, you may remember we've talked about him a number of times already. Phantom of the Paradise, the Brian De Palma film. He did the music for the Muppet film. He's also a musical director on here and wrote a number of the tunes. Now, just to give you some idea of what the writers were on this, and you'll be surprised, I think, with some of them. We've got Paul Williams writing with Rupert Holmes. We've got Paul Williams and Kenny Asher. We talked about Kenny Asher as a producer quite a few episodes ago. Rupert Holmes doing his own music. Barbra Streisand and Leon Russell together writing. You may remember I mentioned Leon Russell. He's part of Joe Cocker's band during the early era and during the Mad Dogs and Englishmen tour. Donna Weiss wrote one. Paul Williams and Barbra Streisand got together and wrote the love theme from A Star is Born, otherwise known as Evergreen. Very popular, award-winning song. Paul Williams, Kenny Asher again. Kenny Loggins in here with one called I Believe in Love. So there's Kenny Loggins back. We just talked about him 2 days ago, along with Alan and Marilyn Bergman. We got Kenny Asher and Paul Williams again, and Kenny Asher and Paul Williams wrapping it up. So Paul's got his hand in a lot of it, but he's brought in a few other players as well. Great tunes. The band, well, it's a studio band, so I don't have a lot of information on what's in there. Just take a look at the album itself. A gatefold album, of course. We've got Barbra on the back. And just a lot of shots from the movie. Now, Paul Williams has been on a real roll. I mean, during this era, he was not only a solo performer, he was writing songs for people like the Carpenters, Helen Reddy, Three Dog Night, as well as doing all this movie music. So he was really making his mark. And like I say, his solo albums are excellent as well. It's a very different style of music. I wouldn't really call it rock. I wouldn't really call it easy listening. But it's very recognizable when you hear it that it's Paul Williams. On here, he's got a little more diversity because he's writing for the movie. He's writing for a certain style on some of the songs. And as well, he's brought in people that could write the music that they need in some of these situations. Kris Kristofferson, certainly a star in his own right, as a musician, songwriter, got into acting. I'm not sure where this was. He's done a couple of movies before that. I think Cisco Pike was one, and Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea. And those might have been before Star is Born came in. I know he's done some work since then, but I'm just not remembering that right off the top of my head. So a little different from the new Star is Born, where we had an actor, Bradley Cooper, transitioning into music. Streisand, of course, she had been a singer. She had been doing movies for years. She had been doing theater. She had kind of crossed both those lines. Lady Gaga, the same thing, started out as a musician, transitioning into the movies, and she's having quite a career as an actress as well. Just a new movie coming out here probably in the next few weeks. Certainly we've got another Lady Gaga coming up here in 2 weeks' time. Her and Tony Bennett are doing a special on CBS. showing that she can do so much more than what was in that first Gaga personality. And certainly Star is Born really shows off her style or her abilities. This album, he's listened to it quite a lot. Again, very reflective of the 1970s and who was popular in the 70s. I mean, Kristofferson was a big name. He was a big draw to put him and Streisand together. Great music by Paul Williams. And again, if you're looking for something a little more contemporary, the Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga soundtrack, just an excellent one to check out. That's it for today. Movie music. The movie Star is Born. 2 different soundtracks, 2 different takes, same great story, and some wonderful musicians. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend. Boy, we're winding down. November's almost over. We'll kind of be cranking into December pretty soon. Everybody, enjoy the weekend. Have a great time. Take care, and thanks for stopping by.